Assalamu alaikum. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. शाहजी आपका मैसेज पहुंच गया मेरे तक, तो मैं अभी कर देता हूँ। और इसके अलावा कोई मसला आपकी ज़िंदगी में जो मैं हल कर सकूँ?
सर वो जो वो है थे ना असाइनमेंट वाला, तो उसमें आ रहा था कि वो प्लेजरिज्म रिपोर्ट नहीं चेक कर सकते, शायद बंद की हुई है आपने।
वो मुझे उसका ऑन करना याद नहीं रहा था, तो मुझे शगुफ्ता ने ईमेल की थी, तो मैंने उसके बाद उसको ऑन कर दिया था। अब आप चेक कर लें।
ठीक है सर।
साकिब, क्या प्लान है प्रेजेंटेशन का?
Yes, sir. Plan, full plan.
प्लीज़ शेयर द स्लाइड्स एंड स्टार्ट योर प्रेजेंटेशन। अच्छी सी प्रेजेंटेशन देना सुबह सुबह।
कोशिश तो करेंगे पर
बिलाल, तुम किधर गायब होते हो भाई? आज भी गायब है। गुड।
स्क्रीन शो हो रही है आपको?
जी हाँ जी, जी हाँ जी।
First of all, the topic of our presentation is applications of biotechnology in food preservation. The presenters are me, Mohammad Saki Nawaz, and Mohammad Mushtaq. First of all, what is food preservation? What is the basic idea of food preservation? Food preservation can be defined as a process. It is a process in which bacterial growth or spoilage causing the microbial flora, their growth is being either inhibited or they are being killed using different kind of techniques. This is a process we call food preservation. While avoiding food spoilage or ensuring food preservation, we ensure that we maintain nutrition value and texture and aroma of the food. There are different traditional and modern methods are being employed for food preservation, like pickling, drying, and refrigeration are used in hundreds of years, which are very traditional methods, and methods like canning, pasteurization, freezing, irradiation, addition of chemicals and food preservatives are comparatively new to the field. What are the main reasons for food spoilage? Food spoilage basically is a process where food products become unsuitable to ingest by the consumer. There may be unpleasant smell or aroma or texture or appearance of the food may change. These are a few signs that food is spoiled. Because of the food spoilage, according to a study, almost one third of food produced for human consumption is being waste every year, which is quite a huge number, and it is a quite a task for the scientists to ensure food preservation and avoid food spoilage as much as they can. So, what are the main reasons or the causes behind food spoilage? There are different bacteria, fungi, molds, and rust or smudge, which are responsible mainly for food spoilage. Different food preservative techniques are used on industrial as well as on domestic scale. On domestic scale, we can say we can use techniques like pickling, refrigeration, and freezing on our very own house. But techniques like canning, pasteurization, and irradiation are used on an industrial or large scale. These are few methods in which there is a role of biotechnology, and as well as some traditional methods which are going to being discussed in our presentation are recombinant and antiphase protein method, high pressure processing, Herders technology, bacterial sense, and chelating agents, irradiation, canning, dehydration, pasteurization, chilling, freezing, squaring, and salting. So we will have an overview of all those techniques and how biotechnology is playing a role and application of biotechnology in preserving different kind of foods. First of all, recombinant antifreeze protein. Basically, it is a protein which is capable, which are being used in cryopreservation of food. Cryopreservation is a method of preservation for a preservation of things or food or any other thing like chemical or bacterial growth maybe at low temperatures like -20, -25. As the name suggests, antifreeze proteins means these proteins does not antifreeze along with decreasing temperatures. There is a novel recombinant type 1 antifreeze protein RAFP was produced by Lactococcus lactis, a bacterial strain recombinantly was engineered to produce antifreeze type 1 protein. There was a study in which lyophilized crude RAFP produced by Lactococcus lactis when treated in frozen meat and dough. There were results which showed that the dough treated with RAFP were giving a much more better fermentation capability as compared to the dough which was not treated with RAFP. So this was a use of RAFP in bakery or dairy industry. As we know that dough is being used for the formation of various bakery products like breads and cakes, etc. Second is high pressure processing. There are some kind of foods upon which when we use high temperature for killing or inhibiting bacterial growth, their taste or aroma may change. This technique is suitable for them. In this technique, 100 to 1000 megapascal pressure is applied to inhibit bacterial growth. This technique also ensures that texture and taste of and nutritional value of food doesn't change much. It is safe for both liquid as well as for solid products. Uh, the third one is hurdles technology. It's not a separate technology, but a combination of multiple technologies being employed on industrial scale, techniques like use of high pressure, high temperature in processing, low temperature for storage, increased acidity, low water activity, reduced ROX potential, presence of different preservatives to favor growth of desirable bacteria and inhibition of undesired or pathogenic bacteria or any microbial flora which is causing food spoiling. Uh, so basically, it's a combination of multiple techniques for ensuring food preservation. So next one is bacteriocins and chelating agent. Bacteriocins are complex protein added during food processing. These proteins are active against food spoiling microbes like molds and fungi. Chelating agents are those agents which are capable of helping bacteriocins as they have the ability of binding with lipopolysaccharide layer of microbes. So the purpose of chelating agents is to bind with lipopolysaccharide layer of microbes so that the bacteriocins which are being attached with the chelating agents can perform their function effectively directly on microbes. Several salts of EDTA like calcium sodium EDTA, disodium EDTA, tetrasodium EDTA are being used excessively for chelating or sequestering agents in food processing and food industry. Irradiation. Irradiation basically the word means the use of radiations in a process is called irradiation. Basically, in a radiation process, we use radiations to kill or inhibit microbial growth, which is responsible for food spoilage. Gamma radiations are being used zero point 0.1 to 0.5 kilo gray. This is the frequency of gamma radiation which is being used to treat food and ensuring their preservation. Radiations cause metabolic changes to increase shelf life of food products. So this is a model and a graph of an industry which is using radiation process for preserving food. This is a radiation room and a storage pool, radiation source rack. This is the source of radiations. Control console. This is the console which is through which all the processes being controlled. A conveyor system. In order to transfer the processed food to the containers for the distribution of the power of places. This was the process of an radiation system being used for food preservation. The next one is scanning. Scanning is the process I would like to ask Mushtaq to proceed here on. So please, Mohammed Mushtaq.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Walaikum
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
assalam. Am I audible? Yeah, Walaikum assalam, Mushtaq.
Yes, sir. Now I will explain further steps of food preservation used in food biotechnology. The next one is canning. In this technique, the food is actually stored in the containers for its preservation to avoid it from spoilage by hermetically sealing it and then we sterilize it by heat. If we talk about its history, then first of all, in 1809, Nicholas Appert was the first inventor who conserved all kinds of food substances in the containers and called as the father of canning. For preservation, he used bottles and jars for the first time and applied heat at a certain temperature for a limited period of time. After his invention in 1810, so Peter Durant was the second one who used iron containers that were coated with tin, and he used them for the preservation of food. The examples of canning are nowadays.
मुश्ताक सॉरी मैं इंटरनेट डिस्टर्ब हो गया था, तुम्हें स्टार्ट लेना पड़ेगा फिर से.
Yes, sir.
हाँ please.
Now, sir, I will explain the first steps of food preservation used in food biotechnology. The next one is canning. In this technique, actually, the food is stored in the containers for its preservation to avoid it from the spoilage by hermetically sealing it, and then we sterilize it by heat. If we talk about its history, then the first scientist was Nicholas Appert in 1809, who used bottles and jars for preservation of food and then applied a certain temperature for a limited period of time. After his invention, the second one was Peter Durant, who used iron containers that were coated with tins, and he used them for the preservation of food. The examples are canned fish and meat. Next one, next slide. Now dehydration. As we know, dehydration means removal of water or moisture. Hence, in this methodology of preservation of food, the growth of microbes is actually inhibited by preserving food after the extracting the moisture for indefinite period of time. It is actually considered the oldest method for food preservation and used for the centuries. In this methodology, different types of foods were used to preserve, like North American Indians usually used sun drying slices to preserve the meat. And the Chinese also used to dry eggs, and the Japanese used this technique to preserve fishes and rice by drying them. If we talk about dairy industry, then dehydrated foods are produced like skim milk, buttermilk, eggs, etc. And in fruits and vegetables are also preserved by dehydration. after drying under a vacuum applying. Now, if we talk about freeze drying, then it is also a part of dehydration that is actually beneficial for the heat sensitive products like meat. Next slide. Is pasteurization. As its name is showing pasteurization, first of all, it was invented by Louis Pasteur. If we talk about its definition, then it is a heat temperature process in which the pathogens are eliminated or destroyed by applying mild heat to extend the shelf life of food. As we know that greater will be the shelf life, lesser will be the chances of spoilage, and then food will be preserved, and vice versa. This technique is almost used to pasteurize the milk mostly. In USA and Australia, the countries which produce many dairy products from the pasteurization of milk. If pasteurization is actually carried out by applying different temperatures at less than 100 Celsius degree centigrade temperature is applied for preservation of food. Usually at 63 Celsius, the temperature is applied for 30 minutes to pasteurize the milk. If we increase the temperature, then the time will reduce. If we reduce the time, then temperature we should apply the maximum. At 72 Celsius, then we will have to pasteurize the milk just within 15 seconds. Next slide, please. Here is the milk pasteurization some examples. The first one is ultra temperature, ultra pasteurization. In ultra pasteurization, actually this process kills harmful bacteria in the milk, but it also damages all of the vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients in milk. And the next one is high temperature. If we apply high temperature, then it will kill the enzymes, much of the healthy organisms, and it will denature the proteins. If we apply low temperature, then at low temperature, proteins and enzymes remain in contact with milk and proteins denature. And the last one is 118 degrees Celsius temperature. At this temperature, the proteins usually denature. Next slide. It's chilling. It is actually the application of temperature in which foods are preserved by applying chilling temperature like 1 Celsius to 4 Celsius. By applying this application, we can store food for weeks depending upon the sort of food. In a refrigerator, we use this application by applying the temperature above the freezing point. If we apply temperature less than freezing point, then the preserved food will frozen. But we will have to apply the temperature above the freezing point. 1 to 4 Celsius is cold temperature. Hence, it slows down the growth of microbes and will create less chances to growth of microorganisms like bacteria, etc. Next slide, please. Saqib, freezing. No, it's freezing.
Next step, freezing.
Yeah. In freezing, there is little bit difference between chilling and freezing. In chilling, we were applying temperature 1 Celsius to 4 Celsius above the freezing point. But in freezing, we apply temperature -18 to -20 Celsius temperature to destroy the microbes growth. Here, the bacteria cannot grow in frozen state, and the food that is preserved can be lost for months. In this way, the placed food in air containers is tightly closed, and then it is kept in the refrigerators. It may get frozen, and it could be inedible. Next slide. Here are the pictures that squaring. Squaring is the new name of actually sugaring. In this technique, we preserve the food in a high square environment to stop bacterial growth by reducing the water content of the food. The presence of water in any food that may cause spoilage. So to remove that water contents, we apply squaring or sugaring addition. Mostly fruits are preserved in the form of jams, marmalades. In this way, we can store them as canning process as well for months and years. We can use all kinds of surgery substance. We can use all type of sugary substances and some squeeze recipes to preserve the foods like sugar granules, sugar syrups, honey, and even alcohol is also used to preserve the foods. If we talk about vegetables, then the vegetables like ginger, carrot, and commonly are commonly squared, and fruits like apples, peach, plums, cherries, etc. are squared for preservation. Next slide. Now it's salting. Salting is actually similar to sugaring, but in sugaring or squaring we used most amount of sugar, and here in this case of salting process we use most amount of salt to dry out the water from the food. In this way, the salt concentration is more and more to preserve the food, as well as it will draw water out from the food and ultimately will stop the bacterial growth. There are two steps in salting process. The first one is dry curing, in which the salt is applied directly on the food, like meat, and leave it to draw water. As in example here, the fishes are hanging by after applying salt on them. And the second one is wet curing, in which the food which is required to preserve is dipped in a brine to draw out the water to make the food preserved. Next slide. There are some pros and cons of food preservation. If we talk about its pros, then it increases the shelf life of the foods to be eaten. The next pros is it makes the food safe to eat by removing toxins. And the next one, it provides nutritional requirements to us, like vitamin C to orange juices, etc. And it makes meat safe for us. If we keep the meat in the refrigerator, then it turns into brown, and it could not be eatable. If we add sodium nitrite and to preserve it, then its color will remain red and will not be spoilage. And now about its cons. The first one is actually by using preservative foods, it may cause asthma reactions. Asthma is actually because of the use of sodium bisulfite, which are present in food preserved materials, and sodium sulfate, etc., which are used mostly in the processing such as dried fruits and vegetables. And the second one is the substances which are used for food preservation are also cause cancer. Cancer causing calcium nitrous amines, etc. Now the last one is preservatives are harmful to children and increased headaches, behavioral changes reported linked with preservatives, etc. Next slide. Thank you, sir.
Ajay, any questions?
Yes, sir, I have.
Yeah, please.
आप आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ जी, आ रही है आवाज़, आप क्वेश्चन करें।
सर ये पूछा था कि कायरो प्रोटीन प्रोटेक्शन एजेंट्स क्या थे? कायरो प्रोटीन नहीं पता था।
किससे पूछना है? साकिब से पूछना है, मुश्ताक से पूछना है, उनसे पूछना है।
सर ये मोहम्मद साकिब से।
जी साकिब साहब।
सर किसका पूछे? क्रायो प्रोटीन?
कायरो नहीं है, एक तो क्रायो है अली रजा, कायरो नहीं है।
उन्होंने अच्छा ठीक है क्रायो।
अच्छा
बेसिकली सर बेसिकली ये प्रोटीन है जो कि यूज होती है क्रायोप्रिजर्वेशन। क्रायोप्रिजर्वेशन मैंने बताया कि ये एक प्रोसेस होता है जिसके अंदर डिक्रीज टेम्परेचर बिलो फ्रीजिंग पॉइंट पे चीज़ों को स्टोर करते हैं। जैसे कि हम लैब्स में भी अगर अपना सेल कल्चर है तो वो उसको क्रायोप्रिजर्वेशन के लिए हम उसको फेसियोल यूज़ करते हैं हम क्रायोप्रिजर्वेशन के लिए। इसी तरह ये एक तरह की प्रोटीन है जो कि लैक्टोकोकस लैक्टस हमारे पास बनाता है, और उसको यूज़ करते हैं हम क्रायोप्रिजर्वेशन के लिए फॉर द फूड एंड फार्मास्यूटिकल प्रोडक्ट्स।
Okay, any other questions or any comment on this presentation?
ओके सर, एक आई हैव वन मोर क्वेश्चन। आपने बात की इरेडिएशन की। इरेडिएशन में हम रेडिएशंस का यूज़ कर रहे हैं, तो रेडिएशंस को जहाँ तक अगर हम बात करें तो रेडिएशंस का वही होता है, बैड इफेक्ट होता है, क्योंकि रेडिएशंस मॉलिक्यूलर चेंजेस लेके आती हैं चीज़ों में, तो वो बेनिफिशियल कैसे हुआ फिर?
हाँ, बेसिकली अली साहब वही चीज़ है ना कि हर चीज़ का अगर एक प्लस पॉइंट है तो आपके पास नेगेटिव पॉइंट भी है, लेकिन आप ये देखेंगे कि आपके पास प्लस पॉइंट ज़्यादा आ रहे हैं कि नेगेटिव पॉइंट ज़्यादा आ रहे हैं, ठीक है। अब ये भी नहीं हो सकता कि हर चीज़ की एक रेंज बनाई हुई है ना, ठीक है। अगर कोई भी चीज़ है लाइक फूड अथॉरिटी है, अगर उस चीज़ को अप्रूव करेगी तभी वो चीज़ हमारे पास इंडस्ट्री या लेबोरेटरी में ही हो पाएगी, ठीक है। अगर ये रेडिएशन जो अगर हमारे पास यूज़ हो रही हैं ऑन लार्ज स्केल, इसका मतलब ये है कि वो उन्होंने पहले अप्रूवल ली है किसी अथॉरिटी से, तभी वो यूज़ कर रहे हैं, ठीक है। आपका भी बात ठीक है कि वो रेडिएशन आर ऑलवेज हार्मफुल फॉर द ह्यूमन हेल्थ, लेकिन ये है कि उसकी क्वांटिटी आप उसको मिनिमाइज करें, मतलब कि ये नहीं है कि वो आप उसको इतनी ज़्यादा कर देंगे, मतलब कि विदाउट एनी कंट्रोल। तो कोई भी चीज़ है, अगर आप अच्छी चीज़ भी खा रहे हैं, अगर आप वो एक्सेस नहीं करेंगे तो आपके लिए वो हार्मफुल ही होगी, बिकॉज एक्सेस ऑफ एवरीथिंग इज बैड। ये बल्कि ये चीज़ हमें देखनी चाहिए। और जहाँ तक आपकी बात है वो भी कुछ ना कुछ ठीक है, लेकिन ये चीज़ें हैं, ये मार्केट में यूज़ हो रही हैं और उनकी यूज़ किया जा रहा है।
ओके, थैंक यू।
Any other question or any comment?
सर कमेंट इसकी प्रेजेंटेशन कंप्लीट की थी, बस दो जो सी थी कह लीजिए कन्फ्यूजन थी, वो क्लियर आ गई। थैंक यू सो मच।
किसी और ने कोई क्वेश्चन करना हो जी? अच्छा जी, एक मेरा सवाल है, what is the principle of antifreeze proteins? How do they work? How do they work?
Principle of anti-freeze protein.
Hmm.
सो बेसिकली एंटी फ्रीज का मतलब कि ऐसे जैसे कि नाम से जाहिर है, मतलब कि अब अगर कोई टेम्परेचर -18 या 20 पे अगर आप चीज़ को स्टोर कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, तो ज़ाहिर सी बात है अगर वो रेफ्रिजरेटर में या फिर वो फ्रीजर में होगी तो फिर वो चीज़ आपके पास ना फ्री हो जाएगी, मतलब जम जाएगी। लेकिन अगर ऐसी चीज़ें ऐसी हैं, मतलब कोई फार्मास्यूटिकल प्रोडक्ट है आपके पास, तो वो अगर उसको आप ऐसे डायरेक्टली फ्रीजर में इतने -18 या 20 पे रखते हैं, तो वो तो मतलब कि हमारे पास काबिल इस्तेमाल नहीं रह पाएगा दोबारा, अगर उसको हम दोबारा यूज़ करना चाहेंगे। तो उसके लिए एंटी फ्रीज ये है कि इसको मतलब कि ये -18 या -20 पे स्टोर तो होगा, लेकिन ये है कि उसको ये जमने नहीं देगा ये प्रोटीन जो है।
नहीं, मैंने पूछा है कि ये काम किस तरह से करती हैं, आप वो नहीं जस्टिफाई कर पा रहे। अच्छा, बहरहाल आगे चलते हैं। मुझे आप लोगों की प्रेजेंटेशन ना कुछ ज़्यादा पसंद नहीं आई। उसके दो वजूहात हैं। एक तो ये है कि इसमें बहुत सारा कंटेंट जो था वो मुझे लगता है कि टॉपिक से रेलिवेंट नहीं था। फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर हम बात करें हाई प्रेशर की, हर्डल्स टेक्नोलॉजी की, या इवन ये फ्री उसकी सॉल्टिंग की, या वो शुगर यूजेज की, इन सब में बायोटेक्नोलॉजी कहाँ है? ये सारे तो फिजिकल मेथड्स हैं माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स को कंट्रोल करने के। दैट्स इट। The thing I wanted in this presentation was कुछ बायोटेक्नोलॉजिकल अप्रोचेज आप बताते हैं। एक आपने बता दिया एंटी फ्रीज प्रोटीन्स का इस्तेमाल किया जा सकता है, इसके अलावा हम डिफरेंट मेटाबॉलिक कंट्रोल्स या एंजाइमेटिक मशीनरी को हम किसी तरह से कंट्रोल करें कि माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स की ग्रोथ एक तो डिस्करेज हो, या फूड्स जो हैं वो सूटेबल ना रहें माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स की ग्रोथ के लिए। मतलब सम मे बी द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ द इन सिटो बैक्टीरियोसेंस या इन सिटो एंटीबायोटिक्स एक्सेट्रा। आपने उस पर कोई बात नहीं की। ये ऑलरेडी जो फिजिकल मेथड्स ऑफ कंट्रोल ऑफ माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स हैं, इनकी हमें ज़रूरत नहीं है। ये हो सकता है कि इसी सब्जेक्ट में किसी को ये दूसरा इस तरह का कोई टॉपिक मिला हुआ हो। तो आप लोगों का टॉपिक था बायोटेक्नोलॉजी इन द फूड प्रिजर्वेशन, मतलब हाउ बायोटेक्नोलॉजी इज प्रिपेयरिंग, हाउ बायोटेक्नोलॉजी इज डूइंग इट्स इज प्लेइंग इट्स पार्ट। तो ये वो कुछ नहीं ऐड किया आपने, इरेडिएशन है या हार्डस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी है या मतलब हाई प्रेशर है, इन सब में बायोटेक्नोलॉजी कोई नहीं है। अच्छा, दूसरा मेरा एक और सवाल है कि इफ़ we have added bacteriocins into the foods, can we add the antibiotics along with it? हाफिज साहब या मुश्ताक दोनों, अगर हम बैक्टीरियोसिन ऐड कर रहे हैं फूड में तो क्या हम बैक्टीरियोसिन के साथ साथ एंटीबायोटिक्स भी ऐड कर सकते हैं?
एंटीबायोटिक्स
हाँ,
आई थिंक नहीं कर सकते हम सर, क्योंकि बैक्टीरिया सर ये खुद प्रोटीन्स हैं सर, ये एज अ सस्टेन के तौर पर एक्टिव वो करती हैं ना, काम करती हैं।
कौन बैक्टीरियोसिन?
जी सर।
तो एंटीबायोटिक्स क्या है? वो भी प्रोटीन्स हैं।
लेकिन सर पर आप करें वो भी ऐड कर सकते हैं, वो नहीं कर सकते अगर हम ये फूड में मतलब यूज़ कर रहे हैं तो उनको हम यूज़ नहीं करेंगे।
हम ना करें, फॉर एग्जांपल हम बैक्टीरियोसिन ना यूज करें, हम एंटीबायोटिक्स ऐड करना चाहें, तो मेरा सवाल है क्या हम एंटीबायोटिक्स ऐड कर सकते हैं?
सर तो वो वैक्सीन के तरफ चला जाएगा
वो एंटीबॉडीज की बात
illegal-
हो रही है, वो एंटीबॉडीज है वैक्सीन के साथ, ये एंटीबायोटिक्स की बात कर रहा हूँ। Okay, another question for you. What is the principle of EDTA to chelate? वो जो चिलेटिंग एजेंट्स के तौर पे आपने EDTA और कुछ इस तरह की चीज़ें ऐड की थी, वो EDTA का प्रिंसिपल क्या होता है चिलेशन में या
सर चिलेशन बेसिकली अपने जैसा कि मतलब कि एक कॉपर एक भी आयन या रेडिकल देखा हो तो वो इसके गिरना वो मतलब कि इफेक्टिव गेम के
हाँ,
खिलाफ
मुझे ओवरऑल चिलेशन का प्रोसेस का पता है, लेकिन मैं EDTA का प्रिंसिपल पूछ रहा हूँ, हाउ इट डू द चिलेटिंग इट डज।
सर बेसिकली ना ये इसकी ना पॉजिटिव टू मतलब कि ये आइदर टू दो सिंगल आयनिक या फिर एक ही जो है ना वो डबल आयनिक मतलब कि जो रेडिकल या फिर कोई आयन होगा ना उसको अपने साथ ना सिक्वेस्टर मतलब कि उसको जोड़ सकता है, ठीक है। इसका ये प्रोसेस है, मतलब कि इसका जो चिलेशन इसका जो वैलेंसी है मतलब फ्रीक्वेंसी है वो पॉजिटिव टू है।
ठीक है हाफिज साहब, मज़ा नहीं आया वैसे प्रेजेंटेशन का ना ओवरऑल। चलें एनीवेज, किसी और ने कोई क्वेश्चन अगर करना है तो कर लें, या अगर कुछ पूछना है तो पूछ लें, या कुछ कमेंट करना है तो कमेंट कर दें, मतलब बाकी सारी क्लास
सर आपने जो क्वेश्चन पूछा था उसका आंसर बता दो।
नहीं, आपसे नहीं पूछा था।
नहीं, आपने जो क्वेश्चन पूछा था उसका आंसर बता दो।
अच्छा बताता हूँ, किसी ने कोई कमेंट करना है या कुछ पूछना है जी इनसे?
जी सर, मजा नहीं आया।
व्हाट काइंड ऑफ कमेंट इज दिस? ये मैं कह सकता हूँ, तुमने कुछ
सर
करना है तो
मैंने
ढंग
अपनी
का कमेंट।
प्रेजेंटेशन के बारे में पूछना है।
नहीं, अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन के बारे में पूछने की बारी नहीं आई तुम्हारी।
अच्छा ठीक है।
हाँ चलो भाग जाओ। अच्छा, आप अपनी स्लाइड्स को अनशेयर करें, दूसरी प्रेजेंटेशन है आज अतिया की। ओके अतिया, आर यू देयर?
Yes, sir.
स्लाइड शेयर और प्रेजेंटेशन स्टार्ट करें।
Sir, screen share हो रही है?
हाँ जी, शो हो रही है क्या?
Assalamualaikum. My name is Atya Kamal and I hope you all are doing well with the grace of Almighty Allah. The topic of my presentation is role of molds in food biotechnology. The table of the contents include history of molds, introduction of molds, and the role of molds in food biotechnology, which is further divided into two parts: good side of molds, bad sides of mold. Last but not the least, conclusion. Starting with the saying of Roberto Coulter, who is a professor of microbiology in Harvard Medical School, he says that microbiology is the future of food. And I hope in the end of the presentation, you will be agreeing with the saying of professor. Starting with the history, whenever we are talking about molds or penicillin, so one name always pop out, and that name is Alexander Fleming. Alexander Fleming is a Scottish bacteriologist who is known for the discovery of an antibiotic named as penicillin. Penicillin is considered as one of the most important antibiotic of 20th century. Now the question is, how Fleming discovered penicillin in his lab. I'm sure you will also be amazed by knowing this. So what happened is that
अतिया सर चलेगा यार 2 मिनट रुक जाओ
आप में से किसी को असाइनमेंट की लास्ट डेट पता है कब है?
इकतीस है यार।
प्रेजेंटेशन इंडिविजुअल भी दे सकते हो?
Okay, I'm back. Atiya, do you hear me? Atiya,
Yes,
do you
sir.
hear me?
Yes, sir.
चलो ठीक है. अच्छा, करें प्लीज प्रेजेंटेशन स्टार्ट.
सर शुरू से करूँ?
हाँ, मैंने बिल्कुल आपका कुछ भी नहीं सुना इसका.
चलो ठीक है. Assalamualaikum. My name is Atya Kamal, and I hope you all are doing well with the grace of Almighty Allah. The topic of my presentation is role of moles in food biotechnology. Here comes the table of contents, which includes the history of moles, introduction of moles, and the main topic, which is role of moles in food biotechnology. And it is further divided into two parts, which is good side of moles and bad side of moles. Last but not the least, conclusion. Starting with the saying of Roberto Coulter, who is a professor of microbiology in Harvard Medical School. He says microbiology is the future of food. And I hope in the end of this presentation, you will be agreeing with the professor. Coming towards the history, whenever we are talking about the history of molds or penicillin, one name always pop out, and that name is Alexander Fleming. Alexander Fleming is a Scottish bacteriologist who is known for the discovery of an antibiotic named as penicillin. Penicillin is considered one of the most important antibiotics of 20th century. Now the question is, how Fleming discovered penicillin is in his lab. I'm sure you will also be amazed by knowing this. So what happens? According to studies, one of the lab habits of Fleming was to keep the bacterial plates longer than usual, and this habit accidentally helped him to discover the growth of mold in 1928 when he returned from a week-long vacation. Like wow, when he returned from a vacation, he found a growth of mold in his lab. The research on penicillin was further carried out, and he noticed that a compound produced by the mold that have ability to kill pathogenic bacteria, and he named it as penicillin. The research on penicillin was further carried out by two scientists named as Ernst Chain and Howard Florey. They isolated, purified, and tested the penicillin in clinical trials. And finally, in 1945, Fleming, Chain, and Florey was awarded with the Nobel Prize in Medicine. And it is true that hard work always pays off. Now coming towards the brief introduction of molds, which molds is basically heterophilic filamentous fungi in nature. All molds are obligate aerobes. That means they need oxygen to grow. The main structural element of mold is hyphae. The branched filaments of hyphae make up mycelium. The main function of hyphae is to absorb the nutrients from the surrounding environment in which the mold is present and transport them to the other parts of the fungus body. The cytoplasm comprises of different organelles like ribosome, endonucleus, endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, or one or more nuclei. Molds are non-photosynthetic in nature because they cannot synthesize their own food. Molds are called as absorptrophic because they absorb all the necessary water, nutrients, and minerals with the help of the structural wall present in their vegetative apparatus to survive. Saprophytes is the term that is defined as those organisms that feed on dead and decaying organic matter, and molds are included in saprophytes. Development conditions, molds require different development conditions for growth and survival, like carbon source, oxygen source, and optimum pH, which ranges from 3.5 to 8.0, an optimum temperature, which is 5 degrees centigrade and 25 degrees centigrade, and moisture level. And I think that moisture level is the most loving development condition for molds. Whenever they find a little moisture, they start to grow. Multiplication of molds. Molds multiply by the means of sexual or asexual reproduction that is done by tiny living particles called as spores. Spores are produced in a large number in the environment and have longer survival rate. This was the introduction of molds. Now the question is why we need molds in food industry. So the answer is obvious that molds are giving us benefit. That's why we are using it in the food industry. But what kind of benefits are provided by the molds in food industry? So by the use of molds in food industry, we get high yield, good quality products in a very short period of time. And molds are very easy to handle. Not only molds, but it is also for all the microorganisms, that if all the microorganisms are handled with care by following all the SOPs and safety precautions in lab, the end results will be great. Molds used in food industry is a cost-effective because molds have ability to ferment very cheap raw materials, and in the end, by fermenting those cheap raw materials, we get useful products, useful food items. Now coming towards the main topic of the presentation, which is role of molds in food biotechnology. One of my teachers said, discussed in the class that some microbes are itself harmful and pathogenic in nature, but their products are not. So to overcome this, what we do, we use the enzymatic machinery of microorganisms, and in order we get our desirable products. The role of molds in food biotechnology is the production of many useful products, many digestible products which have great taste and aroma. Now I will one by one discuss each of the product we get by the use of mold in food industry. First one is cheese dairy. Molds are playing a significant role in the production of cheese. The two main species of Penicillium, named as Penicillium camemberti and Penicillium roqueforti, which are used in the production of cheese, named as Camembert cheese, blue cheese, and rock cheese. The use of these two species gives a particular characteristic to the cheese, which are softness to the cheese, flawlessly rind, white and fluffy appearance. The appearance is so soft that we can easily press it with our hand. And also the word cheese is also help us to get a nice smiley photo, like say cheese and have a great photo. Coming towards the second product, that is meat sausages. Meat sausages is one of the product which we can get by the use of molds. A strain of mold known as Penicillium roqueforti is used in the formation of fermented sausages, and another strain known as Penicillium nigricans is used for the formation of air-dried production of air-dried fermented sausages. And according to research, 60 to 100% sausages which are commercialized in the market, which are available in the market, are mold fermented. And the use of molds give a great texture to the meat, which is very juicy and easily digestible. Countries like Italy, Spain, France, Hungary, Belgium, Romania, and many more are producing a wide variety of meat sausages and having their business. The third product is fumaric acid. Fumaric acid is produced by the use of a mold called as rhizopus. Rhizopus produce fumaric acid, and further fumaric acid is used in the production of a drug named as cortisone. Cortisone is basically an anti-inflammatory drug which is used to treat allergies. And in food industry, fumaric acid is used in the production of food, beverages, and additives. Ketogenic acid is also one of the products which we can get by the use of molds in food industry. A strain of mold named as Aspergillus terrace is used for the formation of ketogenic acid. The Aspergillus terrace is used in the industrial production of ketogenic acid. It is used to produce plastics, paints, adhesives, and resins. And we also know that a number of food products are packed in plastic, like the meat we get from the market, the processed meat we get from the market, the processed fruits we get from the market are packed in plastic packages, and mineral water is also packed in plastic packaging. One of the great product which we get from mold is citric acid. Going back to the history of citric acid, in 1986, two scientists named like Kubicek and Roher studied a number of different strains to produce citric acid, but they failed because among all the study strains, only two were chosen. One of them was Aspergillus niger and yeast, and one of the yeast strain known as Saccharomyces. So between these two strains, Aspergillus niger was chosen for the commercial production of citric acid. And the basic properties of citric acid are it gives acidic taste, and it is highly soluble in water. It readily dissolves in water or soluble in water. As concerned the applications of citric acid, a number of applications are provided by citric acid in food industry. A number of food products like beverages, jellies, jams, frozen food, dairy products, fats and oil are produced by the use of citric acid, not only in food industry, but it is also providing its use in pharmaceutical industry, cosmetic industry, and other industries. Enzymes is also one of the product which we can get by the use of mold. The mucus strains of mold are used in formation in the production of different enzymes like beta glucosidase, alpha glucosidase, which are used in food industry as sweeteners, low carbohydrate beer, wine, and food juices, and also in the bread manufacture. Lipase is also an enzyme produced by mold, which is used in the manufacturing of cheese, giving flavor to the cheese. Alpha amylase is also one of the enzymes which is produced by the use of mold, and alpha amylase is used in sweeteners in the formation of bread, cake, and biscuits. Pectinases are also used in the production of wine and fruit juice, and pectinases is also used in the formation of in the production of coffee. Protease is also an enzyme which is used in the manufacturing of dairy products like milk, etc. It is also used in the formation in the production of meat, giving it a texture and a flavor. Soy sauce is also one of the product which we get by the use of mold. Soy sauce is made by the use of one of the species of mold, Aspergillus oryza or Aspergillus sojai. We can use one of them with combining it with yeast and can ferment the soy sauce. Going back to the history, it is stated that in history soya sauce would have been left to ferment in the sun, but nowadays it is mostly made under industrial conditions. The key flavored ingredients formed in the process are salts of amino acid, and the amino acid is glutamate acid, and the end result which we get the salts are monosodium glutamate. Now we have talked a lot about the good side of molds, the products which we get from molds. Now coming to the bad side of molds. Molds are also very dangerous because they play a role in food spoilage. The contamination of molds caused on the food items is usually visible to the human eye, and in result it changes a food's appearance. The food may become soft and change color, while the mold itself can be fluffy, fuzzy, and have a dusty texture. The spores produced by the molds that give it its color, which is typically green, white, black, or gray. Moldy food also tastes quite distinctive, a bit like wet dirt. Likewise, moldy food may smell off, and a number of diseases are caused by the ingestion of moldy food. Aflatoxin. When talking about the bad side of the mold, aflatoxin is on the top of the list. The first poison to be isolated from the mold is aflatoxin. This and other poisonous substances produced by the molds and other fungi are referred to as mycotoxins. Going back to the history, aflatoxin was first isolated in 1960 in Great Britain. It was produced by Aspergillus flavus and that have been growing on peanuts. In that year, aflatoxin had been responsible for the death of 1 lakh turkeys, which was a great loss. In fact, it was a massive financial loss from these deaths and led to a research that discovered aflatoxin. The scientists rushed to have a solution to recover all of these. Some products of aflatoxin are ochratoxin, which is associated with the kidney damage, while zearalenone has estrogen-like activities, which is also very harmful. Patoline is also one of the aflatoxin product which is associated with apples. Like if aflatoxin has been grown in apples and we ingest that apple, we eat that moldy apple, it will destroy the intestinal barrier. One of the bad side of mold also include mycotoxins. Mycotoxins are toxic secondary metabolites produced by the fungi. More than 300 different mycotoxins are produced by about 150 various fungi. They are not readily destroyed by cooking, and their toxicities are often not treatable. Ingestion may trigger acute effects similar to the flu, like headache, fever, nausea. In some cases, liver necrosis or death may swiftly occur. The chronic effects of mycotoxin include cancer and genetic or birth defects. In this picture, you can see that the crops are infected with mycotoxins, and our farm animals eat that infected crops, and in result, in our dairy products, we get that infection as well, and also in the meat. All these are the toxins which are already present because the crop was molded, and the cycle goes on. The crop was eaten by the animals, and by the products of animals was eaten by the humans, and a number of diseases or disadvantages was seen, like growth retardation, infertility, immunotoxicity, liver failure, and intestinal destruction. These are the pictures which are used to show the moldy fruits, like the molds which are grown on the food. The strawberry is having this gray appearance, which is the appearance of mold, the growth of mold on strawberries. The orange is also having a gray appearance. The growth of mold is also seen on bread and on corn. Coming towards the conclusion, molds are of greater importance in food industry. Molds have both the good side and the bad side. The good side includes the production of several food products and other useful things, which is very benefiting, and also benefiting the food industry and also increasing the economy. The bad side includes the food spoilage, health risk, and diseases, and the death can also occur when the use is very high. With time and research, the use of microorganisms will be greatly increased in food technology. And as concerned with food spoilage, only safety precautions, safety measurements can be applied. So we should follow these and avoid as much as the toxins of molds. Thank you.
Okay, ji, any questions? No question. And any comment for this presentation? Okay. Okay, Atiya, if there's a product, for example, pectinases or any other enzyme that is obtained from the mold, how can we differentiate that this product is obtained from mold or from fungus? Is there any differentiation?
Sir, basically fungus is the main head, we can say, and mold जो उसकी classification के अंदर आता है. Basically mold is also fungus. Like the strain, fungus is having different strains, molds, etc.
So we are unable to differentiate between the products from molds and the fungus. You can say it would fall in the same head.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. अच्छा जी, किसी और ने कोई क्वेश्चन करना है? ठीक है, बिल्कुल प्रेजेंटेशन नहीं सुनते आप लोग. ओके, चलें जी. अटेंडेंस से पहले मुझे ये बता दें कि हु इज गोइंग टू प्रेजेंट इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास. नेक्स्ट क्लास हमारी होगी 27th ऑफ मई को. एक तो शेरेस बट का नाम लिखा हुआ है
जी,
और साथ सुफियान है
जी. सर एक सवाल मैंने पूछना था.
हाँ, एक मिनट रुक जाओ, सवाल भी करता हूँ. मुझे सिर्फ एक दफ़ा डिसाइड कर लूँगा कि अगली क्लास में कौन प्रेजेंट करे. ठीक है, सिर्फ आप लोग ही करेंगे प्रेजेंट. गुड. यस प्लीज, क्या क्वेश्चन है?
सर मैं पूछना था कि एग्रो और एग्री ये सेम ही चीज है ना?
किस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से बात कर रहे हैं, मैं समझ नहीं
मतलब
पाया।
एग्रो फूड और एग्री फूड ये सेम है? एग्रो मतलब एग्री फूड, एग्रीकल्चरल फूड तो वो होगा ना जो मतलब ज़राअत के शोबे से मतलब हासिल किया जाता है, ज़राअत के जरिए से, ठीक है? तो एग्रो भी यही होगा ना?
मुझे इनमें कोई डिफरेंस का नहीं लगता, मुझे नहीं लगता कि इसमें कोई डिफरेंस हो, लेकिन
मैं भी यही सर, मैं
मुझे
कल
ये
सर्च कर रहा था तो
ये नहीं समझ आ रही कि आप इसको लेके क्यों कंफ्यूज हैं, एग्रो और एग्री में। व्हाट इज द इशू इन
हाँ,
इट?
वही बताने लगा था। असल में कल मैं सर्च कर रहा था तो वो
प्रेजेंटेशन
एग्रो
टॉपिक।
वर्सेस एग्री की ऑप्शन आ रही थी। मैंने कहा ये क्या
अच्छा,
चक्कर है, इस वजह से मैंने फिर पूछ लिया आपसे। मैं कहा फिर भी
मुझे
कंफर्म
नहीं
कर लेना
लगता,
बेहतर है।
मुझे नहीं लगता कि इसमें कोई एज सच
जी
होगा।
जी सर।
जी,
ठीक है।
हाँ जी।
सर मैंने आपको मेल भी की थी सर, मेरी तबीयत खराब हो गई थी तो सर मैं नेक्स्ट क्लास में प्रेजेंट करूंगा।
नेक्स्ट में तो नहीं आप कर सकेंगे, अब एंड पे देखेंगे, टाइम बचा तो। अब बाकी आपकी आपकी सेहत के लिए हमारी नेक तमन्नाएं और ख्वाहिशात आपके साथ हैं। क्या हो गया था खुदा ना खास्ता?
सर मुझे बहुत सा बुखार है सर, मैं
ओहो,
रात को ही हॉस्पिटल से।
अच्छा हॉस्पिटल से वापस आ गए थे आप, माशाल्लाह। चलो फिर तो आप बड़े बहादुर निकलेंगे, हॉस्पिटल से इन दिनों वापस आ गए आप। चले, अल्लाह आपको सेहत और तंदुरुस्ती दे और शिफाए कामिला कामिला आजिला नसीब फरमाए, और हमारी आपके लिए नेक तमन्नाएं और ख्वाहिशात हैं। इंशाल्लाह प्रेजेंटेशन देखेंगे आखिर में। अब टाइम बचता जाएगा तो और भी काफ़ी सारे आखिर में जो हैं ना लाइन अप हुए हुए हैं, तो उनके बाद टाइम जैसे जैसे बचता जाएगा इंशाल्लाह प्रेजेंटेशन हो जाएगी।
सर
सर
3
मेरी
को
बारी से
हमारा लिख
पहले
रहे
होगी
सेहत
हैं।
के
ना?
बाकी सेहत के मामलात जो हैं ये तो फिर इंसान के कंट्रोल में नहीं है ना, खुदा यार।
यस सर।
हाँ चलो, अपना ख्याल रखा करो तुम, मतलब। हाँ मोइस, क्या मसला है?
सर अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
सर मैं कह रहा हूँ कि मेरी बारी खुदा
तो
यार से पहले होगी।
रिदा एक मिनट, ये मोइस का मुझे मसला हल कर लेना। हाँ जी मोइस सर।
सर मैं कह रहा हूँ मेरी खुदा यार से पहले आएगी बारी।
अब आप दोनों जो हैं, अब मैं दोनों में से किसी एक को मैं ये नहीं कह सकता कि तुम बाद में प्रेजेंट करना, क्योंकि आप दोनों ही एक दूसरे के मुकाबले में मतलब मेरे लिए इम्पोर्टेंट हैं। तो विल सी, पहले जिनकी स्केड्यूल्ड है उनकी प्रेजेंटेशन ख़त्म करते हैं इंशाल्लाह, उसके बाद वी विल डिसाइड अबाउट इट।
जल्दी करें सर।
जी जी, मैं जल्दी करूँ, जब आपको टाइम मिला था उस टाइम तो आपने ढंग की प्रेजेंटेशन दी नहीं। आई एम नॉट नाउ सपोज टू गिव यू एन अदर एन अदर पता नहीं क्या जो भी। जी रिदा।
सर मैं और हीरा 3 जून को देना चाह रहे हैं प्रेजेंटेशन।
कब को, कब 3rd of June?
जी जी सर, 3 जून को।
3rd of June में किसी और ने?
सर रवीना और मैं भी 3 जून को देना चाह रही हूँ।
रिदा एंड हिरा 3rd June।
इसके अलावा
आपको पता चल
सुनहरा
गया,
और रवीना।
आपको पता चल गया पेपर्स कब से स्टार्ट हो रहे हैं?
नहीं सर।
मुझे भी नहीं पता चला, पता चले तो मुझे बता दीजिएगा।
सर अभी तो मिड अब खत्म हुआ यार, फाइनल की बात।
मैंने वैसे सुना
सर
है कि
सर फर्स्ट वीक ऑफ जुलाई से स्टार्ट हो रहा है।
नहीं नहीं, फर्स्ट वीक तक बात नहीं जाएगी। मैंने सुना है कि 28 June से कुछ है ऐसा वैसा।
सर 3 जून का सुनहरा और रवीना का भी लिख
3 जून की बजाय आप आगे क्यों नहीं चले जाते सुनहरा?
सर ठीक है सर।
मतलब अगले उसके उससे अगला जो ट्यूसडे होगा उस पर चले जाएं।
ठीक है सर, वो मैं कह रही थी कि आप दो दो ले रहे हैं ना एक क्लास में, तो उस
नहीं
हिसाब
नहीं, वो
से।
ये दो तो गलती से आ गई बीच में, मेरा मूड नहीं था, मैंने पढ़ाना था आज, फिर पढ़ाया नहीं जाता मेरे से कुछ भी। 3 जून की बजाय आप लोग 8 जून पे आ जाएं, सही है?
ठीक है सर।
8 जून चलेंगे।
तो सर अगर 7 को ओपन होती है तो फिर पेपर ऑनलाइन होंगे कि ऑन कैंपस?
तो मुझे नहीं अंदाजा कि क्या बनेगा। आई डू नॉट हैव एनी इन्फॉर्मेशन। आप लोगों के पास ज़्यादा इन्फॉर्मेशन होती हैं तो पता नहीं।
ऑन कैंपस के चांसेस हैं सर।
पता नहीं
सेमेस्टर के शुरू में हमें मेल आई थी कि ऑन कैंपस ही होंगे, सेशन ऑनलाइन चले या ऑन कैंपस।
वो
कौन
तो
से
पिछले
होने फाइनल
सेमेस्टर,
को ऑन कैंपस होंगे।
तो जो भी हो हम पेपर लेंगे और आप पेपर देंगे, और इससे क्या फ़र्क पड़ता है ऑनलाइन हो या ऑन कैंपस हो। ऑनलाइन होंगे तो तब भी पेपर होगा, ऑन कैंपस
तैयार
होगा
है
तो।
सर।
हम
सर
भी
वो
तैयार हैं
चीटिंग के
ऑनलाइन।
चांसेस बढ़ जाते हैं ना ऑनलाइन
चीटिंग
में।
चीटिंग में देख लूंगा इंशाल्लाह, टेंशन नहीं लेनी।
और इसलिए आपको पता ही है, झूठ वाली बात तो नहीं है।
उसमें थोड़ी सी मेहनत ज़्यादा करनी पड़ती है पेपर सेट करने के लिए और वाइवा सेट करने के लिए ऑनलाइन
सर
में, नो डाउट, लेकिन इट्स फाइन।
बिल्कुल।
अगर पेंडेमिक सिचुएशन हुई और हमें ऑनलाइन जाना पड़ा तो
सर
फिर इट्स
ऑनलाइन
फाइन।
सर ऑनलाइन फिजिबल नहीं होंगे ऑन कैंपस
क्यों?
से।
पहले पिछले सेमेस्टर में तो बड़ा आप लोगों ने शोर किया था कि हमसे ऑनलाइन है, इस दफा कह रहे हैं कि
सर
ऑनलाइन है।
हम में से कोई गया भी नहीं, पता नहीं कौन कब बखत चला गया।
मजा आया ना सर ऑनलाइन में देने का, इसलिए अब
स्टूडेंट रिप्रेजेंटेशन नहीं थी
सर
ना, मतलब हमारे, अगर
जीपी
हम
की आत्मा
देखें,
रुल गई है, सही बात।
यू आर राइट, लेकिन अगर हम देखें आप लोग नहीं थे, ठीक है, आई एग्री विद दैट, तो हमारे पास कोई ऐसे लोग भी नहीं थे जो ये इस हक में होंगे भाई ऑन कैंपस ले लें। अगर आप लोगों को इतराज़ था तो आप लोग भी अपने वॉइस जो है उसको एक बेहतर प्लेटफॉर्म पे अपना कम्युनिकेट करते। तो बहरहाल स्टूडेंट्स ऑनलाइन के हक में थे। आई नो कि अब क्यों भाग रहे हैं, इट्स फाइन, जो भी हुआ पेंडेमिक सिचुएशन के अकॉर्डिंग यूनिवर्सिटी ने जो डिसीजन लिया हम उसके अकॉर्डिंग पेपर ले लेंगे। ऑन कैंपस होंगे तो थोड़ी मेहनत कम करनी पड़ेगी पेपर सेट
सर
करने। जी जी जी, हाँ जी हाँ जी हाँ जी, जैनब आगे बोले हैं।
सर मेरा इंटरनेट डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया था, काइंडली अटेंडेंस मार्क कर दीजिए।
ओके, आप अटेंडेंस मार्क कर देता, ठीक है। चलें जी, अटेंडेंस दे दें ज़रा मुझे। एंड स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम अफीफ़ा। अफीफ़ा इज़ नॉट देयर। एमन, अली रज़ा,
सर
अंबर असगर, आमिना आज़म, अकील अहमद, अकील इज़ नॉट देयर। ओके जी, अरीबा इज़ नॉट देयर। अतिया वाज देयर। एंड उसके बाद हमारे पास आएंगी हिरा खान,
प्रेजेंट सर।
इकरा,
प्रेजेंट सर।
इकरा शाहिद,
प्रेजेंट।
खुदायार,
प्रेजेंट सर।
माहम शराफत, मशल ज़हरा, मासूमा जैदी,
प्रेजेंट सर।
मिनाहिल
प्रेजेंट।
एंड मिसबा,
प्रेजेंट सर।
मोइज़, मोइज़ मोहम्मद आसिफ,
प्रेजेंट सर।
मोहम्मद बिलाल,
सर मोहित
मुश्ताक,
प्रेजेंट।
अच्छा जी, मुश्ताक,
प्रेजेंट सर।
साकिब,
प्रेजेंट सर।
सुफियान,
यस सर।
राहत,
प्रेजेंट सर।
रवीना,
प्रेजेंट सर।
रेहान अहमद,
प्रेजेंट सर।
रेहान अरशद, और उसके बाद हैं रिदा करीम
प्रेजेंट सर।
एंड रिमशा वहीद,
प्रेजेंट सर।
रुहमा, सदाकत,
प्रेजेंट सर।
एंड सदाकत के बाद हैं जी हमारे पास जनाब समिया अरशद, समिया मुख्तार, समरा मुस्तफ़ा,
यस सर।
एंड सना,
प्रेजेंट सर।
शगुफ्ता,
प्रेजेंट।
शहरेज़,
यस सर।
शिजा,
प्रेजेंट।
सितारा, शिब्बुल हसन,
यस सर जी।
ज़ईम अमजद,
यस सर प्रेजेंट।
ज़ैनब जाहिद, जुनैरा नसीम,
प्रेजेंट।
एंड
कुछ बच्चों ने हैंड रेस किए हुए हैं, वो देख लें।
हाँ देखें, मार्क कर दी अटेंडेंस। जुनैरा जाहिद।
प्रेजेंट सर।
ओके बच्चों, सी यू इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास। अल्लाह हाफिज़।
ओके सर।